Good. And no attendees yet. Oh, there's one. Kathy Roberts, she spoke yesterday. Hello, everyone. We're just waiting a couple minutes to allow everyone to get here, and then we'll begin in about 5 after.
Ryan, I see Kathy Roberts in attendees. Should she be promoted?
No, she was. She spoke yesterday. So
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So she's probably just coming as a.
Copy that.
Thank you. Let me see, Ricky. William Schneider, excellent. One more minute. I think. Okay. All right, we'll just get started then. Hello and welcome to day 2 of the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council Candidate Forums. Just a little bit of house cleaning beforehand. In the interest of time and smooth flow, we have restricted the amount of time people speak to approximately 2 minutes. I mean, if you'd like to speak longer, that's fine. Nobody's going to be like, getting the hook out or anything, but just try to keep your comments brief so that we can get as many people as possible in the time allotted. Because of time, we are not going to be fielding questions today. So unless there's a technical issue that you need to have a question with in terms of how the election operates or how the webinar is going, that type of thing. But if a member of the audience has a question for one of the candidates, we can get that conveyed to them through other means. With that, the other reminder is, if you have not done so at this point, please register to vote. We have, obviously, everybody should be aware by now that there have been issues with the city clerk's office. Hopefully they've been doing their best to remedy those things, but you want to get yourself into the system. Okay. And then, hold on, I need to unmute. And unmute. Okay. So you want to be able to have because the last day to apply for ballots is going to be Tuesday, March 9th. So get everybody you need to get, who you want voted for you, to vote for you, to sign up as well, so that your ballots get there in time and that you are able to vote. Another change is that the ballot box location, the drop-off box, if you don't want to send your ballot in, is going to be at the John C. Fremont Library. And the box will be available for drop-offs from the Friday before Election Day. Election Day is March 16th, so it will be Friday. To look at my calendar. Will be Friday the 12th. So that is when the drop box will be open for people to drop things off. And with that, I'm going to welcome Cindy Chavato Keane, who is representing area, which area? Oh no, will be running for nonprofit. And she did not get a chance to speak last time, so I'll let her speak today. So that's it. Go ahead.
My name is Cindy Chavatal Keane, and I'm running for the nonprofit seat in the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council election. I live in Hancock Park with my husband and 2 sons. I'm a longtime resident of and advocate for the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council community. I was a founding member of the original NC, and also the Hancock Park Historic Preservation Committee, which helped establish our HPOZ for our area, and also helped create our master tree plan, which protects our urban canopy. I'm the current alternate for Hancock Park and president of the Hancock Park Homeowners Association. I believe in neighborhoods. I believe that our GWNC neighborhoods and their residents must have a strong voice in decisions being made at the city and even state level that directly affect all of us. Land use, zoning, transportation, infrastructure, and the protection of our urban canopy and homelessness, they're all very important issues, and we need to pay attention as a community. We are a city of neighborhoods, and it's what makes us great. And if elected, I promise to represent the Greater Wilshire neighborhood community and their voice. Thank you.
Thank you. I also want to thank Cindy, who did an enormous job in helping me to raise the alarms when we started, when there were a number of issues that were coming in with the ballot. So
I'm noisy.
Yes. But it was the community coming together to solve a problem, which was a very, very good thing. So thank you.
Can I interrupt too?
Yes.
Because since this is the beginning, I want to just tell people that if they do have friends or their own problems with the ballots, the best way is to phone. And I want to just give the phone number to the city clerk's office. So it's as early in this as possible, which is 213-978-0444. And make sure to leave your phone number if you call. That's the best way for them to reach you. And if you're giving it to other people, make sure they know to answer their phone. So even if it's an unexpected number. Anyhow, sorry, forgive me.
Oh, no, not at all. Thank you very much. And with that, we will move to the candidate for Area 9, Bendy Varghese. I think I said it right.
Hi.
Hi. Well, and
Hi.
welcome.
Thank you. I'm coming to you from my car.
Okay.
My name is Bendy Varghese, and I will be your Area 9 representative since no one is running against me. So thank you, and I'm honored. I'm here to introduce myself. I've been living in Area 9 for a little over 7 years now, and I absolutely love it. I decided that I wanted to participate in neighborhood council really because I'm such a firm believer in community engagement, and I wanted to learn about local governance and advisory boards and sort of understand from my neighbors what issues matter to them. I can tell you, having lived there as long as I have, matters that stand out are homelessness and development So I would really like to bring my points of view to those issues and look forward to thoughtful discussion on that. I have been a tenant, a homeowner, and a landlord, all on the same block, all in Area 9. So you can expect that I will have a balanced point of view when it comes to matters of development. I can tell you from practicing law for the many years that I have, there are so many different ways to frame an issue, whether it be from a point of view of preservation, a point of view of pro-density development, a point of view of tenants' rights. For me, when I think of policy matters, I take it through the lens of who is being helped and who is being harmed, and is there a way that we can move forward, balancing everybody's issues of interest as much as possible. So I look forward to discussions and for presenting strong points of views in the interest of our neighborhood. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much and congratulations. So you, and next up is a current board member and incumbent candidate for Area 10, Patty Carroll, who's also our treasurer.
Here I am. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Fine, fine. Hello, everyone. So first thing I would say is that I care immensely about the whole Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council. I worked very early on with the Neighborhood Council and am a stakeholder in different areas. So I feel like I have an overview of a lot of what is happening. I'm the current treasurer on the Neighborhood Council. I'm also on the Land Use Committee and on the Outreach Committee. And I am the representative for St. Andrews Square, Ridgewood Wilton. St. Andrews Square, I have a great love relationship with. My parents bought their first home there in the early 1950s, which my grandparents then moved into, and then my aunt and uncle. And it's an area that I keep coming back to. I lived for a considerable amount of time outside of the country in France. But still, when I came back to St. Andrews Square. So for me, the big issues, I mean, I think it's what we're all experiencing, is kind of land use issues. I've worked with my neighbors to preserve several homes and buildings in the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council that we have landmarked. We worked to deter prostitution when there was a big prostitution trend in St. Andrews Square and Ridgewood Wilton, and basically have really tried to work to keep our area, which is a borderline area, safe and free of crime. Our neighbors all have an incredible relationship, it's a wonderful area. People probably wouldn't know it driving through it, but we certainly love it. And I do my best to keep it wonderful. That's it.
Thank you very much. And next we have up candidate for Area 11, William Schneider. And I'm asking you to unmute.
Good afternoon. Yes. Hi, my name is William, and I actually just want to start by thanking you, Brian, and members of the council for helping me navigate this process. I've lived in this community for over a decade now, and this is my first time getting this involved or attempting to get this involved in local politics. We've all been in a bit of a bubble this last year, And it certainly has given me some time to stop and take stock about the things that are important to us. This neighborhood, this community that we're all a part of is very important. And that's why I've decided I wanted to take a more active role in it. I'm a small business owner. I've been involved in architecture, design, and development for the last 20 years. I'm a firm supporter of historic preservation, and Sycamore Square, like many of the neighborhoods that you live in and represent, was primarily developed in the 20s and 30s. We are surrounded by extraordinary cultural gems. And I think it's important that we as a community continue to work and preserve some of the most architecturally significant neighborhoods in Los Angeles. Growth and change in the greater Wilshire area is inevitable. In fact, I support certain projects. It's one of the reasons I wanted to become part of this council. I recently came across an article that talked about how this council worked with the builder, encouraged them to consider the community and develop the property that maintain the architectural integrity of the neighborhood. Appropriate building permits, height restrictions, architectural styling, and integration of affordable housing is something that this council's voice can have an impact on. Honestly, affordable housing, it goes hand in hand with cultural inclusivity. We are all very fortunate, well, most of us are very fortunate to come from some pretty spectacular neighborhoods, and bringing people in from different backgrounds, all walks of life, making them feel safe and warm in our communities is critically important. It's the small, simple things that most of us take for granted. I recently realized how difficult it was to install a stop sign or to get safe bike lanes added to our streets. Individually, we don't have the power, but when we come together and a unified voice, like the GWNC, people listen, and that change can happen. And that's why I'm running for this seat. I want to be a part of that change. I look forward to, whether I win or not, working hand in hand with the GWNC, and would be thrilled to represent the people of Sycamore Square. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Conrad Starr, our Greater Wilshire webmaster and secretary. Here we go.
I'm taking my mask off for 2 minutes. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hello to the Greater Wilshire community and to my 25-year home of Sycamore Square. I want you to feel secure in re-electing me, Conrad Starr, as your Sycamore Square representative. As the current GWNC secretary and webmaster, I've spearheaded our transition to cloud-based collaboration and have prioritized training, internal training, and also training of our stakeholders so that everyone can participate further. As our emergency preparedness liaison, I will be moving at next week's meeting to form a preparedness committee and a preparedness plan. And as transportation committee chair, I successfully moved a GWNC resolution to announce bike parking for all of our in-person meetings, which surprisingly the city and just about no one else does. So we look forward to those in-person meetings, of course. We had proposed guidelines that we submitted to the land use committee around safe commercial loading zones, designated rideshare pickup points, and secure storage of bikes and e-bikes. And I have learned they have just endorsed those policies at their recent meeting that they will intend to share with their developers, with their applicants. And then as 4-time president of the Sycamore Square Neighborhood Association, I've negotiated with businesses, with developers, with LA Metro, and with city planning. And we successfully updated our single-family home zoning under my leadership, while also advocating for vertical growth on our commercial corridors of Wilshire and La Brea. I've partnered with adjacent neighborhoods on first aid and earthquake preparedness trainings and been a featured presenter. And as secretary of the Wilshire Community Police Advisory Board, which was formed after the LA riots, and which is a critical component of community-based policing, I've overseen a significant increase in participation, both in numbers and in terms of the geography of the Wilshire Division map. As a community emergency response team member, I will present on the 17th on earthquake preparedness to a citywide audience, which is part of the neighborhood team program rollout. I have many plans, as you can imagine, for a better prepared Los Angeles. And one of those is for seismic functional recovery. We need developers to spend the extra 1% so that our new buildings will still be livable after the big one. So we can avoid some of the 300,000 some odd displaced and newly homeless that are anticipated after a 7.9 or greater earthquake, which would quadruple or more our existing homeless population. And also to truly embrace sustainable transportation, we need safe EV and e-bike charging and storage options so that our young neighbors can start families and not have to move away because there's no place to charge their car or to store their cargo e-bike that they use for grocery shopping. Now, professionally, I managed business conferences in 12 countries over 9 years. But I've also made a little money as an actor, as a photographer, and even as a DJ. And I am hurting to get back on the dance floor. I can't wait. So thank you for your time. And again, vote for me. Vote for Conrad Starr for Sycamore Square, because I know where you live.
Thank you very much, Conrad. Next up for Area 12 is candidate Juan Portillo Jr. Juan, I'm asking you to unmute. You're on.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here today. It means a lot that everyone's here, both as a candidate and as a stakeholder in Greater Wilshire NC. I look forward to working with all of you in the coming years and months to really progress Greater Wilshire into new heights. A little bit about myself. My name is Juan Portillo. I am a Latino data analyst, nonprofit data analyst who centers the majority of his career around education. I've been an AmeriCorps volunteer in DC and came back to LA to serve LAUSD. And from then on, went to work with nonprofit industry, working and progressing my data skills. Furthermore, a little bit more my intersectionality. I'm also a father. I am a son of a hardworking immigrant father and a lifelong neighbor in Greater Wilshire. What spurred me to action to join this NC is really the dream that to really make an impactful difference in your community, it really starts in local government, getting involved with your local officials, and making an impact next door, down the street. And that's what I want to do in Greater Wilshire. As a candidate, I'm currently endorsed by Streets for All and LA Forward. And really sorry, give me a moment. The reason, as an unopposed candidate, what I'd like to do, what I'd like to accomplish in these coming years is bring about my values, really, which are environmental justice, affordable housing, and hopefully one day healthcare for all. I love that folks would talk about historical preservation of neighborhoods and preserving landmarks in their areas. But as someone who's been in Western Wilton, I've only seen complexes go up. I've only seen rent prices increase. And I really would like to push this council and any candidates and current council members to spur some progressive movement in the future with rewriting the bylaws, with, more outreach, getting folks involved throughout all of the NC, not just Hancock Park, Windsor Square, all around Greater Wilshire, to be involved in the community, in neighborhood committee meetings, etc. Look forward to working with all you guys.
Great, thank you very much. Congratulations. Welcome aboard. Next, we have for Area 15 is current GWNC board member John Gresham. Asking you to unmute.
There we go. Okay, thank you for making it easy. I didn't see that the unmute had cropped up. Yeah, welcome to this meeting, everybody. My name's John Gresham. I'm one of the founders of Greater Wilshire and its predecessor organization, fighting for neighborhood council and grassroots leadership of the city as much as possible. Since I moved into the area in 1989, but specifically since the charter changed and allowed for neighborhood councils to exist in 1999, I have fought very hard for neighborhood councils to be a voice that city council listens to as much as we experience that they actually fight that. Our mission in neighborhood council boils down to preserving our quality of life in the middle of this large city. We are a residential island in the middle of this city, and it's constantly being taken apart in, well, areas that would be considered land use matters. What I consider inappropriate and unplanned development to put up as much housing as possible at any cost, but not hardly any affordable housing, which is one of my main issues. Housing that goes into Los Angeles right now, what the need is for affordable housing, not for massive units that take advantage of different kinds of credits given by the city to whittle down the 10% affordable housing that is required to 8% or 1 or 2 units in a 30-unit building. Excuse me. The need for affordable housing overrides almost everything else, but quality of life is effectively what we fight for as neighborhood council, as a neighborhood council, and as members on the neighborhood council to make smart decisions. I want local-based planning so that we can have some measure of control. And fundamentally, yes, I am a preservationist. I do not understand how I actually will continue to fight for preservation, because I believe that preservation can exist with additional housing if you have smart planning. I have ideas that I've tried to get into the city council, but that is going to be something that you all decide if you elect me back to the neighborhood council. If you don't, I will continue fighting, but I'd like to continue to be on the neighborhood council as a voice of reason and to carry on the institutional and historic memory of this association. So thank you very much. Again, my name is John Gresham. Oh, and the most important part is I'm running for Area 13, which is Wilshire Park, more commonly known as the Wilshire Park area. That's Area 13 representative. So I will gladly accept your votes and thank you very much. And I hope to see you all vote in this election. Thank you. That's Area 13, Wilshire Park, John Gresham. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Michael Turner Duggan, who's running for the Area 13 seat.
Hi. Yes, I am. I'm also running for 13. I'm a newbie in this situation. I've only been here for 2 years. Before coming to the Greater Wilshire area, I was homeless. I was a homeless student at Los Angeles City College for 3 years. I lived on bus benches while attending honors classes, and then later became the student government president at Los Angeles City College. And I got my housing here in this community, which I love very much. I founded the Student Homeless Action Coalition, which was a club for the 20% homeless students or people that were home insecure. So I have strength in attacking the homeless situation that is a growing epidemic in Los Angeles. And so I'm an art history major. I'm not really like a politics kind of person. But when I was doing a challenge for Marigore Studies street lamp competition, I was able to figure out maybe like 130 different modifications we could have to street lamps. And it got me kind of interested in infrastructure and how people from different disparate professions or trades can come together to really improve the environment. And so after serving as student body president at Los Angeles City College, I also then got to meet a lot of civic leaders. And so I want to kind of bring that into the neighborhood council. I also have a strong relationship with millennials. I think it's important to get younger people involved in this process. And so it'll be me and John duking it out for District 13, but I think it'll be, regardless how it turns out, I'm really excited to be engaged with y'all. And I have some great ideas that could really help the community, particularly with lower income younger people trying to get into the community and how we can include them. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. And as goes for all candidates, that if you do not win your election, we need alternates and we need people on committees. So we look forward to having you as part of the solution here at Greater Wilshire. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next up is for Area 14, Windsor Square, Gary Gilbert. Well, I'm asking you to unmute.
Okay, I have unmuted.
Hey, Gary, welcome.
Okay, hi. My name is Gary Gilbert. I've lived in Windsor Square for over 35 years, first on Norton Avenue, then Windsor Boulevard, now on Plymouth. Professionally, I've written and produced and created a number of television series. My wife and I have raised 4 daughters here. We were one of the original families involved in Big Sunday, which has evolved from a few of us doing some good deeds around the city to tens of thousands of volunteers on thousands of projects. And for over a decade, my family and I led Temple Israel's Christmas dinner for the hungry and homeless of Hollywood, which we built to eventually serve 1,500 local residents in need of good meals and, equally important, good feelings on Christmas Day. More recently, I've been a volunteer for the past decade with Inside Out Writers, where I teach creative writing to incarcerated youth of LA in our juvenile halls, as well as now I mentor young teachers. Along with my friend John Gresham, who just spoke, I was a member of the first neighborhood council, and I'd like to return for a few specific reasons. Exactly a year ago, I led the resistance to a plan to install a playground on Larchmont Boulevard, and over 2,000 of you joined me. And that experience reminded me of 2 things. One, we need to demand full transparency from our representatives, which I believe we weren't getting. And 2, I decided that I can't let the same 10 people make every decision in our neighborhood, then get upset when they do something I feel is detrimental to the community. So here I am running once again to represent Windsor Square. When I heard about the playground, I knew I had to contact our council member. So I immediately sent an email to my friends to join me. And to my surprise, it turned out that I knew the email addresses of almost 200 of our neighbors. And I think that's something unique that I bring to the party here. Over 30 years, of the past 30 years, I've developed lasting connections with neighbors from Echo Horizon School, from Oakwood School, our soccer teams, the swim teams, Temple Israel of Hollywood, Los Angeles Tennis Club, Los Angeles, the Larchmont Yoga Community, and so much more. And I have not just very strong ties, but I believe the respect of the leaders at the Larchmont Bid, my friends at Hancock Park and other communities. And I've also begun to establish what I think is a valuable connection to the CD offices of Nithya Raman. After more than 3 decades, I can say that I know this community as well as anyone. And I believe I can reach out to these many connections to work for the best interests of the neighborhood. I think we all know how fortunate we are to live in Windsor Square. I'm sure you'll all agree that Larchmont Boulevard needs to remain an active and vibrant street. And that's the other very specific reason I'm running. Larchmont is the center of our community, and that's why I've been talking to folks at the Bid, local business owners, city planners, and our own city council office, first on my own, and now as part of the board of the Windsor Square Association, to address the future of Larchmont and by extension, the entire neighborhood. And as much as I enjoyed the role of outsider, I also agree with our councilwoman that I could be an even more effective volunteer if I work within the organizations like our neighborhood council. So that's the plan. Here I am, ready to serve. I believe I'm one of 3 good choices, as you'll see, that the fortunate people of Windsor Square have. And that's a long sentence. Phew. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Welcome.
As a fellow Plymouth Boulevard
Okay.
resident. Next up, we have Carolyn Labner Moser, who is our current president. Take it away, Carolyn.
Hi, I'm Caroline. I'm not looking at myself, but I guess you all are looking at me. I'm looking at Brian. I'm running for Area 14 with Gary and Tommy Atlee, both of whose attention to this I'm very grateful for. I still disagree with Gary, by the way, about that playground. I think a city-owned parking lot on a very important, as he points out, central part of not just Windsor Square, but Greater Wilshire deserves to be have a better and higher use than parking cars. So we will tussle that out, both of us serving on the Windsor Square Association. And he's nodding, so I have a worthy and attentive opponent in him. And I'm very grateful for Tommy's entrance into this. He grew up here and he knows a lot about the neighborhood and has a point of view that somebody younger doesn't have. So forgive me, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit. I'm a practicing architect. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, not this part of Los Angeles, but just a little bit further west. I left for college. I have my undergraduate degree at Harvard and my architecture master's from MIT, which is, I'm grateful to share that credential with our new council member. She's I value her credentials a lot. I came back here to restore a 100-year-old house, almost 100-year-old house, with my husband and my 2 daughters, one of whom still lives here. I've been on the neighborhood council since 2010, not as a board member at the beginning, but as a committee member. And I just wanted to share a little bit about the committee work, because I think it's one of the most valuable things that we do in the neighborhood council. There are people who don't have the time or the energy to serve on the board, but can serve on committees, and their expertise and their willingness to share their understanding of the city, understanding of the specific area is invaluable. We have very strong committees, and I would encourage everybody on this call to join a committee too. We have sustainability and transportation also is important as some of the other issues we're talking about here, land use and homelessness. My biggest issue with the neighborhood council is we are the liaison to the city in both directions. When the city has issues, they come to the neighborhood council. We have no power really, but we can reach out to people. We can do outreach. We can make sure that the questions that the city is asking can be heard by the people in the neighborhood. And we also work in the other direction, which I think is the most important work that the neighborhood council does. We're the advocates for everybody in the community. So not just people who share my point of view, but people who have a breadth of ideas. I certainly stress the idea of transparency and openness. And I think outreach is something we need to do even more of than what we've done, which is why I've just joined the outreach committee. So in addition to my credentials, otherwise now starting to help more with outreach. I think that that's the most important thing to emphasize is the level of commitment I have to the neighborhood. I'm on the Windsor Square HPOZ and the Park Mile Design Review Board. And I know an enormous number of people who are helpful to both Greater Wilshire and Windsor Square. It's not a small group, it's a quite large group. And we owe a debt of thanks to a huge number of volunteers at every nonprofit who are part of this community. So I hope I can continue to act that as a Greater Wilshire. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And our final candidate for Windsor Square, Area 14, is Thomas Atlee. I'm asking you to unmute.
Hi, everyone. My name's Thomas Atlee. I go by Tommy, Tom. You can call me any of those 3. I have been a resident of Windsor Square and Norton Avenue for 22 of my 23 years of life. So I think I win on percentage, but maybe not. I am, my main focus and something that I'm running on is transparency. I really am interested in finding new ways to communicate what happens at the neighborhood council board meetings and at the committee meetings to all stakeholders in this community. So some of my ideas are trying to engage more residents of the apartment complexes in Windsor Square, north of Norton Avenue and alongside Beverly and 3rd. Another thing that I'm interested in sort of helping communicate is the new guidelines around sort of like the bike lanes on 4th Street, making them more walkable, more safe for pedestrians. And then I'm also interested in kind of seeing what really ambitious, but maybe broader goals the neighborhood council can have, not only as a leader in this community, but in the city at large can do. So something I'm interested in is exploring ways that the neighborhood council can urge our council members, Nithya Raman and Paul Koretz, to look into the sort of unethical ways that council member John Lee was involved in with the FBI sting, and perhaps, you know, urging them to take a broader stance on a more braver stance on calling out his impropriety and rooting out corruption at the city level. Additionally, I think that we can be a leader in a model of sustainable development. So thinking about ways that we can encourage more people to live here while still keeping the neighborhood character in mind. I mean, Windsor Square is one of the most beautiful neighborhoods in this city, and it's a gem. But I think that a lot of people walk through it and view it as a huge sign of inequality too. And so exploring ways that we can keep the beauty of it, but expand its access to people is something that I find very important, especially as someone who is living at home with their parents and looking at rent prices. So thank you all for listening to me. I apologize for the stuttering, but thank you all. And I'm excited to get involved into the neighborhood council, either as a board member or as a committee member, or as Gary put it, someone on the outside. So thank you all.
Thank you. Next up is our first candidate from Area 15, Mr. Beau Lloyd. I'm asking you to unmute.
Hi, how's everyone doing today?
Good, welcome.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here. It's just so exciting to see so many people from, taking time out on the weekend to come together to kind of speak and to kind of come together about our community. It's so exciting. My name is Beau Lloyd. I live in Keane, which is Windsor Village. I live right around the corner, actually, from the park, which has been such a joy during these times. I am a new resident of this neighborhood specifically. I actually grew up in the San Fernando Valley, and before living here, I was living in downtown LA. But born and raised in LA, and my mother actually grew up off of Hudson, so I'm very familiar with this area throughout my childhood. But I'm really excited to, bring kind of the voice of a neighborhood. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to participate and run, is that, to be a part of change, you really actually have to sometimes be the hands yourself, so to speak. And I wanted to, take this opportunity to kind of like be a part of a neighborhood that I find so endearing and that's meant so much to me during this time, as well as where I see myself for some time to be, for the next several years. And, really kind of listen to what's important for our neighborhood. And I think the neighborhood council is a great place to do that. It's I like to say, everyday people coming together and, really kind of talking about their few blocks. And that's really kind of what makes our city so great. And there's so distinct little blocks from each little neighborhood. And I think that's so exciting. And I hope to kind of be that voice and perspective. But yeah, that's it.
Great. Thank you very, very much. So, and welcome to the neighborhood. So our next up is nonprofit representative Helen Eigenberg. And I'm asking Helen to unmute. Helen, would you like to speak? Maybe we'll one more time. Helen, can you unmute yourself? Oh. All right, we will move on to, do we have, who's next? Scott Apple. We do not have our education rep. Scott Apple's not here. Mike Jenowick's not here, but we do have a candidate for business representative, Rafi Cantor. So if you'd like to unmute yourself, welcome back to the forum.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again. I get to do this. It's the forum's so nice. We did it twice. So I appreciate it. I want to thank everyone who was here yesterday. And Brian, thank you again for facilitating today. I want to, introduce myself first. My name is Rafi Cantor, and I'm running for the business representative. I work at 627 North Larchmont. It's just pointed out yesterday, it's the building with the violin in front of it. And I'm a TV producer's assistant. And I'm running because I want young workers in our area like myself to get involved in local politics. My campaign has been endorsed by Streets for All, which is a pro-transit organization, and LA Forward, which is a progressive grassroots organization. And I've had the privilege of getting to meet hundreds of fellow workers and business owners over the last 2 months of campaigning. There are two stark truths that I have come to know in my conversation with the workers and the businesses that make this community thrive. The first is that, unfortunately, the vast majority of workers and business owners who I spoke with in our area have not heard of the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council, let alone that they can participate in this election. So my primary goal, if elected, would be to strengthen outreach to workers throughout our area, make their ability to participate easier, and be a megaphone for their concerns to the various council members, Congress members, police officers, and city officials who frequently attend our board meetings. The second is that homelessness is by far and away the most pressing issue for local businesses, and I'm glad that it's been discussed today as well. I hear the same thing on Larchmont, Melrose, Wilshire, and La Brea. As mentioned, numerous times at this meeting, we are an advisory body at the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council. So I'm not under the impression that it holds all of the answers to the solution for our city's 40,000 people who are experiencing homelessness. But its role as an advisory body is meant to shine a light on this area to City Hall. And in my experience, discussions of homelessness are treated by city officials as a sanitation issue rather than the humanitarian and commercial crisis that it is. My hope is that we can be a voice to both council members Rahman and Koretz, pressure them to make use of the short-term funds that the Biden administration has made available through FEMA, which the city is, I'm happy to report, taking steps towards doing, and the long-term funds that Measure Triple H provides, well over $1 billion, which has really been slow in rolling out, that we voted to tax ourselves for to alleviate this emergency, which is gripping our city and our neighborhood. So with that being said, I really appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we also have with us April Hannon, who is running for the at-large candidate. April, if you'd like to unmute.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Brian. Definitely for letting me come back twice. Thank you everyone who came back again as well, and everyone who logged on to participate today. My name is April Hannon. I'm a special education teacher and I live in Sycamore Square. I am relatively new to the area. I've been here for about 4 or 5 years. I wanted to get involved with the neighborhood council and other local organizations in LA just because of issues that I saw in my neighborhood at first. Constant construction projects on Wilshire Boulevard, really interrupting traffic and small businesses right there. The increase in houses neighbors that I've seen just in the past few years, and my concerns about affordability and accessibility. My personal values make me want to live in a community that's equitable and also sustainable. I'm happy that I've been endorsed by progressive organizations such as LA Forward and Streets for All, which is really focused on kind of fixing a lot of LA's transportation problems with first and last mile issues. My focus, if elected to the neighborhood council, would really be outreach. I know that a few other candidates have also mentioned this. Just talking with people all around our neighborhood council area. Many people are not aware that LA actually has a neighborhood council system. So they think it's just part of city council. They're not aware that there's a board of residents, workers that actually like speak to the community, to our council members. So really just outreach and also getting more like young professionals involved in the community. I've been talking with residents in Western Wilton area who are really concerned about homelessness. They're also concerned about traffic speeding in their areas. I've also been talking with small business owners, workers at Larchmont who are also concerned about homelessness and developments on Larchmont. So I know every area, we all have sort of specific things that we're worried about. But I think that if all of the community members are working together and we can get more people engaged, we can really build a stronger, more resilient and more equitable community for everyone. Those of us who've been here for a really long time and those of us who are newcomers and want to participate. So that's why I'm running for the at-large representative seat, and thank you guys for listening.
Thank you very much. And then we also have running for at-large, Sam Uretsky. I'm asking Sam to unmute. Welcome back.
Hi, Brian.
Hey.
Everybody else. So I'm Sam Uretsky. I'm a 21-year resident of Larchmont Village. I live on Lucerne Boulevard. And to April's point, I became aware of the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council by leading a fight against a party home starting last spring that severely disrupted our neighborhood, creating massive danger both from the spread of COVID and from other activities. No need to list them at this point. I led the organization of a neighborhood group that fought this, and we were very successful. The developer who owned this home and turned it into a nightclub is now facing misdemeanor charges before the city courts. Separate from that, my background, I have an art history degree from Columbia University, a fairly useless degree that was actually a degree self-directed in city planning. So I created my own degree, involved city planning, demographics, architecture, and graduated with that as my basis. Went off to a career in technology, media, and marketing, and retired to ostensibly a quiet, lovely neighborhood where I expected to spend the rest of my life. The disruption based on poor land use, which resulted in the zoning that allowed a 4,400 square foot home to replace a 1,900 square foot bungalow, led in part to the party homes, which led me to become involved and understand how the Larchmont Village Neighborhood Association could be helpful and how the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council could be. And that got me very interested in wanting to help others in our neighborhood achieve goals commonly held, diverse among the different communities. Larchmont, for example, is a wonderful single-family home neighborhood, one of the last few remaining neighborhoods of its type in central Los Angeles, and is currently about to be victimized by two large-scale developments that ostensibly are arguing that they're affordable housing. One by offering 2 affordable housing units while threatening to destroy the character of North Larchmont Boulevard, and one that's changing a 5-story apartment house that's affordable for middle-income people into a 8-story monstrosity of group homes. So land use is very important to me. Public safety is very important to me, both what I experienced on the street, not being able to walk on my own street day and night for 6 months, and from what one hears bubbling up on social media about the general feeling of unease throughout this area. I think we need to re-engage LAPD. We need to undo the damage that the city council did by defunding them, and help them rebuild their morale so that they become more active and more engaged with us. And with that, I just think that I would benefit the council. I'd be beneficial for all of you. I'm eager, hardworking, smart, and ready.
Great. Thank you very much. And I'm going to ask Helen if she would, Helen, can you hear me?
Hi, Brian, can you hear me?
I can. Do you want, I can promote you to host, promote you to panelist so that you can turn your camera on. Would you like that?
Sure.
Okay, I'm promoting you to panelist. 1 second. And where'd you go, Helen? There you are. I'm asking you to unmute.
Unmute. Are we good?
Yep, we're good.
All right. Hi. So sorry, Brian. I thought I could do it on my phone, but I was having trouble. But here I am. So
hey, do you want to start your video or?
Oh, wait, let's see. Hold on.
There you are.
Yes, there we are. Okay.
Oh, excellent.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. But I appreciate the opportunity to speak again today. And I just want to say, my name is Helen Eigenberg, and I'm running for the nonprofit representative seat. I've never been involved with the neighborhood council before. This last year, I've started to attend some more meetings. I just think community is the most important thing that we can do. My background, I'm an actor, which has afforded me a lot of downtime. And so I've spent a lot of my adult life volunteering in nonprofits. I've been teaching sex ed for Planned Parenthood in the LAUSD for 14 years now. I am, I guess I'd say, a lead organizer for Hodge, which is Hang Out, Do Good. And we're all about community and getting folks engaged, because I think that's what I've learned in these last years is being engaged in our city and local is really important. Understanding what city council can actually do and not do, what the board of supervisors can and actually do and not actually do. And I think it's the same thing with the neighborhood council. And I think it's a great way for us to come and show up and listen and find common ground together. Our neighborhoods all have different needs and wants, but we've got to find ways to come together and find common ground to make things good. This is a great neighborhood council and we have great areas, and I'm new to it. So I think what I would just make my promise is I would show up, I will come and I will listen and I will learn, and I will be one of many voices and be willing to really find common ground. So I think that's all I need to say. So thank you so much for this opportunity. And if not on the neighborhood council, I look forward to joining on to one of the committees. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much. And then finally, myself, who is running for the at-large seat on the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council. I have lived in Windsor Square for 2 years and previously in Brookside for 9 years. During the past 2 years, I've had the pleasure of serving as the at-large alternate, a position that allowed me to shadow longtime GWNC member Karen Gilman and participate in committees and board discussions and gain valuable experience about the workings of our neighborhood council and city government. My husband and I of 30 years have 2 children, and they attend the school locally just over the border in Koreatown at St. James Episcopal. As an architectural historian and preservation advocate, I've worked in the field of historic preservation for over 2 decades. I'm also a Columbia grad, and this drew me to the communities of the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council, which are rich in historic resources and are among the most historically and culturally significant neighborhoods in the city. It is home to our mayor. It is frequently a Hollywood backdrop and home to diplomatic councils, as well as a thriving neighborhood of families, professionals, working people, and immigrants. It is a green and diverse oasis of community in the bustling heart of Los Angeles. Our city now faces unprecedented challenges in the coming years, with budget shortfalls, a lack of affordable housing, a crisis of homelessness, alongside the regular maintenance of our aging infrastructure and everyday constituent services. I seek to be among your representatives on the GWNC to assist our new councilwoman, Nithya Raman of CD4, and the city in any way that we can to face these issues, to be your voice of support or in opposition to policy which affects our communities and the city as a whole. It is now more important than ever that the GWNC maintain its history of civic participation and engagement, and that we have a seat at the table so that we can welcome yet manage change and preserve what makes our communities great. Again, my name is Brian Curran. I'm running as the at-large candidate for the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council, and I'm asking for your vote on March 16th. And with that, I also just want to say what a privilege and an honor it has been to be the elections chair for the Greater Wilshire Neighborhood Council this past season. And I thank Conrad, Max, and Carolyn for helping me along the way and giving me the guidance and prodding me and, getting me moving on this. I think that, given the circumstances, I think we have a wide, an exceptional group of candidates this time in terms of people who are motivated, who love the community, who have different ideas and different backgrounds. And, it will be one way or the other, it's going to be a great neighborhood council after the election. Was there anything else? And once again, just to remind you that if you have not registered to vote, please do so. You can at least vote, give yourself one vote, and get as many people around you. Get your family, get the people if you work in the neighborhood, get people you work with, get your neighbors, get everybody registered. You have until Tuesday to do so. Because you can begin next Friday to drop off ballots. So time is of the essence. We are at the we're at the precipice, and we'll have a new council before we know it. So with that, I want to thank everybody for joining us, and I will be, since we scheduled for about an hour and a half, I'll be sticking around probably for the next half hour, just in case anybody else stops in. But with everybody else, you're free to spend your Sunday afternoon as you will. So good to see you all.
Thank you, Brian. Hi, do you want me to hang around too, so that you're just not a single face there?
No, you don't have to hang around. I'm good.
I've got the governance committee meeting at 4 o'clock.
Oh, very good. Okay, yeah.
So forgive me for not being more prepared today. I was sort of rambling on, but so.
I think, your reputation precedes you, so. But I'm amazed how many young people seem to want to get involved, and then, and also just, how many other people just, are coming out and, have great statements and everything, so.
No, I'm delighted, and it was really nice that so many people showed up today. So I'm just, I'm very happy that they were all here. So, and people really were clear about what their point of view is, which I'm also grateful for.
Excellent.
All right, I will abandon you then. Hi,
All
Pat.
right. Very good.
I'll see Patty in a little bit at governance.
Okay. Patty, are you?
Hi, I'm here. I just thought if someone else came on, I just have you listening in the background. So
I'm sorry, I got your message. I was dealing with my sons at the time. So thank you very much. And yes, I've been wrestling up the vote.
Yeah.
We are recording still, so forgive me, but I just, Brian, before I leave, we do have to do some kind of a report about the election mess.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's something that you want to tackle. I would think it probably would be, because you probably have all of the information at your fingertips.
Yeah, no, so what I'll probably do is I'll either have a sort of post-mortem kind of election committee, or open house that anybody can come and so that they can say, this was my specific issue with this is what should change, so that we can sort of bring that all together and then do the report from there.
Good. I'm going to put that on the agenda for this meeting, because it's not strictly the work of the elections committee.
Okay.
I think it would be valuable. I'm glad you're willing to do it, and I agree with you. It should be, we should do some more outreach to make sure everybody who has a story or issue comes and tells us.
Yeah, because I have a lot of the emails, but
yeah,
other people might have more things to say. So
yeah, I've got some things to fill in the gaps, but still, anyhow. All right, I bid you farewell. I will.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
I guess I will. Well, I'll keep on in the background just in case somebody joins. So
okay.
Who knows? Okay.
All right.
At least for a few minutes.
All
Thanks.
right. Very good. John, is that you?
It's Martha right now.
Oh, hi, Martha.
John's right here. I'm just signing on for him on my computer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got through. We didn't have as good of an attendance as yesterday, so we got through everybody in about an hour. But I'm hanging on until 2:30.
Oh, good, Brian. Can
Okay, here's John.
Okay.
Hi, how are you doing?
Oh, good.
Let me just be a little more friendly here.
Okay.
Hi. So did you